Today I'm sharing my picks for the best road race bikes of 2026. These bikes are lightweight, they're stiff and they're aerodynamic, designed to go fast when it really matters. And every bike brand takes a different approach to building a road race bike, so they're all different in interesting ways. I've actually ridden every bike in today's video, so I'm not sharing marketing claims or spec sheet details, actual real world experience of riding these bikes and what they're like, the good and the bad. So in no particular order, and people will moan at me in the comment section for the first bike in today's video, the Specialized Tarmac SL8. Yes, I know, it's an obvious and easy choice, but it is an easy choice. It's still one of the lightest bikes you can buy that offers really good aerodynamics. The ride quality is good, comfort is fantastic. The geometry and handling, all very easy, very neutral, an easy bike to live with, an easy bike to race. The looks aren't the best in the world, the nose cone, which doesn't really work for a lot of people, and the prices are, historically, as Specialized are, expensive. The value for money isn't fantastic compared to other brands I'll feature in today's video, but they are ridden by some of the best riders and teams in the world, and they are a good choice. And it's still one of the bikes I get the most questions about from friends who've actually bought the bike and are very happy with the bikes they've bought. So yes, an easy choice, an obvious choice, but a choice that doesn't disappoint if you're looking for a fast and lightweight road race bike and accept the value for money not being as good as a Canyon or a Giant or a Van Rysel. And it's still arguably the benchmark for that idea of one bike that can do it all. As in, it's aero for flat roads, breakaways, time trials even, but then light enough to really climb exceptionally well, not hold you back against skinnier, lighter weight climbers on lightweight bikes. It descends well too. Just a good bike that won't be the wrong bike in any situation. Might not be as aero as the most aero bike, like a Cervelo S5, and not as light as a super lightweight bike, but just enough of all the qualities to make it a really good all-round choice. So if you want one bike that does everything at a world-class level, the Tarmac SL8 is a good choice. And you can see my full review on the bike linked down below. Offering a lot of the performance and some of the looks of the Tarmac is the Van Rysel RCR, the decathlon house brand that arrived with quite a lot of fanfare just a few short years ago, but now definitely cemented itself as a good, credible, viable alternative to more mainstream popular race bikes, and has the aero performance to match bikes like the Trek Madone and the Tarmac SL8. Decently lightweight, and it does undercut the price of those bikes quite a bit. Not the best value, but definitely better value than some of those bikes. I've been lucky to ride both a range topping version and the entry level bike with generally the same frame with different carbon fiber layups and different group sets of cords and different weights as a result of those changes. But the performance across that price range is really good, and performance that won't let you down or hold you back or handicap you compared to a more common mainstream choice. So pretty lightweight, pretty good comfort from the frame, good handling from the geometry, very neutral steering, not too fast, not too slow, and very pleasant looks as well. And a bike proven at the highest level in the World Tour as well, which for lots of people counts for a tremendous amount. Having that sort of pro rider, pro team validation that a product can cut it in the hardest, fastest races in the world will mean it's surely fine around Richmond Park on a Sunday morning. So a good option if you're not so precious about the name on the down tube of your bike and care more about the price, the value, the speed and the performance. That is the Van Rysel RCR. This might surprise some people, but I'm definitely putting the Seka Spear in today's video. I've been riding one for the last 12 months and it's a bike that really impressed me for offering Tarmac levels of performance, speed, comfort and handling, but at low prices. We are seeing a growing number of Taiwanese and Chinese brands standing on their own 2 feet, the likes of Winspace, Wilier, X-Lab of course, and Seka trying to offer what the Western brands offer in terms of marketing and brand presentation and colour choice and their own in-house design, and trying to get away from the old tag of cheap Chinese products, which are just copies or knockoffs of more familiar designs. So Seka Spear, definitely one of the bikes from that world that definitely stood out in the last 2 years, and riding one for the last year, like I say, I've had nothing but a great time on a bike. I've had no mechanical issues, no durability concerns at all, just been a really smooth experience of living with that bike, and a bike I still ride on a regular basis. Doesn't quite have the smoothness of the Tarmac or the Van Rysel, especially up front with their own rapier handlebar, but if you ride predominantly on smooth roads, it's not an issue at all, and definitely has good comfort in the saddle from that very unique wind eye design in the rear stays. Comes in a wide range of colours, more colours than a Specialized or Giant or Trek will offer you, which is amazing. They offer that choice. The price isn't super low. It's definitely nudging into what you might expect for a Giant or Canyon perhaps. So definitely up against that sort of mid-range offering from more familiar Western brands, but definitely a brand that's on the up. I'm seeing more and more out there, and definitely sort of an interesting sort of left field choice if you want something that isn't a Specialized or a Trek or a Cannondale. The choice of Mattia Van der Poel, the Canyon Aeroad, available in CF SLX and range topping CFR trims, is definitely a good bike, definitely a fast bike. It's a pure aero race bike, not trying to be an all-in-one bike like the Tarmac, but in range topping trim it's about 7 kilos, so not heavy at all. And for a rider like Mathieu van der Poel, he uses it everywhere in the mountains of the Tour de France and the Spring Classic. So a bike that is fast everywhere and probably won't hold you back on the climbs all that much. And Canyon, because they sell direct, the bike arrives in a big box on your doorstep, still offer great value for money. The prices are higher, as all prices are higher than they were when they first arrived in the UK 10 years ago. But the value for money is still better than a Specialized. You get better wheels, get branded components, the saddles, all their parts are high quality indeed. So yeah, bang for buck, it's still really good. There is still the debate argument around buying from your local dealer and that support you should get from a good bike shop versus buying it online over the internet and arrives in a big box and some assembly is required. But I think the popularity of Canyon shows that you guys aren't concerned about that at all. And the Aeroad is a really good choice. It definitely fits into that aero category like the Trek Madone, the Scott Foil, and it is as fast as it looks and one of the fastest bikes around the Just Ride Bikes test track. So yeah, properly rapid bike. You have that modular handlebar, so you can adjust the width and go for aero drops if you want, and a gear groove for adding accessories for your computer, your phone, tri-bars as well. So if you're doing triathlon, duathlon, that is a good option. Comfort, not as good as a Tarmac, definitely a bit harder in the saddle due to big tube profiles, but not terrible. And there are some smart details like the same tool is required for all the bolts on the bike and the little fork tab, so when you put the bike down with the front wheel out, you won't scratch the carbon. So some nice thoughtful details on the latest generation Canyon Aeroad. And yeah, a bike that looks fantastic and it rides fantastically too. Making videos like this takes time and money, and I'm once again proud to have the support of Squarespace for 2026. The all-in-one platform for building a website for any purpose, any requirement. There's a solution for everybody on Squarespace, and you get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain with a special code and link down below in the description of today's video. And best of all, building a website on Squarespace is a doddle. And there are two options. Either choose from the award-winning library of templates and then customize a template by choosing the layout and the color and adding your photos and logos to tweak it to how you want it, or use AI, answer a few simple prompts, and a website is generated for you in seconds, bespoke to your very needs. So two options to suit everyone out there, but the end result is a professional looking website for any person, any requirement, any purpose. Whether you run a bike shop and need an e-commerce solution to sell bike products and bike stuff, you can do that with Squarespace. Or if you want a personal website for your CV, your blog, share photos of the world, you can do that on Squarespace too. And with my 10% discount code on screen right now, you can save money on your brand new website. What a great way to start a new year, damn, with a brand new, shiny website. Right, back to the best race bikes of 2026. Another bike built for speed and which is still the fastest bike around a Just Ride Bike test track is the amazing looking BMC teammachine R. R stands for race, I presume, or radical, or rapid. It's definitely rapid in my hands, and it will turn any average rider like me into a fast rider. It is properly quick. It's not perfect though. Tire clearance is on the small side. The ride quality is definitely hard and reminds me of older era aero bikes. But if you love going fast, it's definitely a rapid bike developed with the help of the Red Bull technology arm of the F1 team, with the halo forks and mad looks, really narrow handlebar, lots of aero features, a bike designed for going fast, and yeah, definitely a very rapid bike. And it's not just a bike that's fast on a flat road in a straight line, it climbs pretty well, the weight isn't that bad, it descends extremely well, the handling is very good. And while the geometry isn't as progressive as the likes of the new Factor 1 or the Ridley Noah, it's definitely an easy bike to kind of fit on and get comfortable with compared to what you're probably used to right now. So that is a definite contender for one of the fastest bikes I've yet ridden. And I can't wait to see how it compares to a Cervelo S5 and a Carnago Y1 RS in a head-to-head battle of the fastest aero race bikes. Not all race bikes have to be super duper aerodynamic because weight still matters and stiffness to weight ratio too. And a giant TCR Advanced in its Pro and SL versions is still a really good race bike. Yes, it might not be as aero as a Tarmac or madone, but if you don't really care about aero that much, you're not racing and you're not worried about the marginal gains and you want a lightweight, reasonably fast, comfortable, good value for money bike because Giants still offer exceptional value, then the Giant TCR in its 10th generation is still a no-brainer choice. Yes, you lose some aero, but in the real world, if you're not actually racing, it doesn't matter too much. It's still a rapid bike, and you have the weight and stiffness that makes it a very snappy and very responsive bike in a way that most aero bikes aren't on the same level, same page in terms of that immediate response to your inputs through the handlebars, and it's still lightweight as well, and comfort is superb with its latest version. The pick for me is the Pro, the mid-range Pro. You get the same fork as the SL, but you don't get a seat mast. You can adjust the seat height much more easily, and the frame for the mid-range model is still very lightweight, about 850 grams, which is lighter than some range-topping frames from other brands. So yeah, it really punches above its price class by quite a big factor. So yeah, an easy bike to recommend. A possible downside for some people, if you are concerned about hookless rims, is all the models come with their own, with Giant's own SLR or some version of the SLR wheels with hookless carbon rims. Now, I've ridden hookless wheels from Zip and Hunt and Giant and MV over the years, and touch wood, never had a problem. Not been an issue with correct tire pressures and supported tires. And I've ridden quite a few Giant TCRs with their wheels and not had an issue, but I hear your concerns about the wheels on their bike. So that's definitely something to be aware of and mindful of if it is a concern for you. But that aside, yeah, Giant TCR, if you're not chasing aero, watts, gains, whatever, it's definitely a bike to consider. The Trek Madone SLR has now, in its second generation, matured into a very good aero race bike. Not as radical looking as when it first launched compared to more radical bikes from Carnago and Cervelo and Factor that have come in recent months and years, but still a very distinctive looking bike, and a bike I think matured very well in terms of how it looks, and that silhouette is really good to look at. I personally think it's a fantastic looking bike, and Trek does some really good paint jobs outside of and inside their Project One customization scheme. And the ISOFlow, the hole in the seat tube, has proven to be reliable. No structural issues with that as far as I can tell. No broken frames cluttering the internet. And while the aero claims might be a bit dubious about how it decreases turbulent air in that area where your legs are spinning around and stuff, it does improve comfort, and comfort on the Trek Madone is very good. And I reckon it's one of the smoothest riding aero bikes, smoother than the BMC teammachine R and the Canyon Aeroad. A little bit behind the Tarmac, because the Trek Madone, while it's now the Madone and the Monda into one bike, it still feels like more of an aero bike than the Tarmac is an aero and lightweight bike. And when I weighed it at the launch, it's still heavier than a Tarmac by quite a margin, and a lot heavier than the old Monda. So yeah, more of an aero leaning bike than an aero lightweight number. But With a narrow handlebar, that comfort, good handling, geometry, it's a bike that is fast and feels fast and doesn't beat you up in the process, which is, yeah, we all want that, don't we? We don't want to be beaten up when we are racing or riding fast. Right, 2 bikes to go. Next up is the replacement successor to one of the prettiest bikes made in the last 5 or 10 years, the Wilier Filante SLR. There's a new version which I rode just a few months ago, but the one before that, which came out 5 years ago, in the red, in that deep red, is sensational to look at. And that version, in my humble opinion, will go down in the history books as one of the prettiest bikes ever made, at least in the last decade, maybe of all time. And I'd happily own a frame to hang on my wall behind me in the studio and build a collection of iconic bikes. But there's now a new version, and thankfully they haven't deviated too much from the old one. It still retains most of the lines. They've sort of nipped and tucked it in key places. It wasn't that heavy, it wasn't that slow, didn't lack much aero, so tweaked the aero, got a narrow handlebar now as well. They revised it, tweaked it, kept most of what I liked, most people liked about the original. The one big controversial change, which I'm not really a fan of, and it's something I might grow to like and something that might be addressed with future updates, are the new aero water bottle cages and bottles. While they may gain you more aero, it definitely leaves you star points in my opinion. That matters. How a bike looks definitely matters as much as how fast and how aero it is. So yeah, good changes mostly. Kept most of what I liked about that bike, but that bottle cage situation needs addressing. But that aside, yeah, it's definitely a bike to consider in 2026. And the last one to consider, especially if you're based in the UK and you want a great value option and you want a reasonably versatile road bike with space with big tyres and even like the idea of fitting fenders or mudguards, is the new Boardman SLR. I rode 2 versions last year, the same frame, but different group sets and different builds, with mudguards, without mudguards, a 1-piece carbon handlebar and a regular 2-piece handlebar and stem. And it is a fantastic bike. It has the geometry of a race bike, so it's nippy and responsive and fast and reasonably aggressive, but not super aggressive. They fit quite short stems, so not super stretched, and you're nice, not compact, but a comfortable position on the bike. Space for up to 35mm wide tyres. You can fit a nice plump tyre for sort of smooth out your rough roads where you live. And like I say, you can fit mudguards and fenders, which for winter riding, and then transition to summer racing. There aren't any other race bikes as versatile as that this side of the MV Melee, which costs a lot more money. And then the price of the Boardman bikes is fantastic. I don't know how to do it. The prices are crazy, make even a Giant or Canyon look overpriced and expensive. But as a consequence of that, they're all sold out. But hopefully, I'm told new batches are coming down the line fairly soon. So hopefully, when more supply becomes available, you can jump on one of the Boardman SLRs and get yourself a bargain and a fantastically fast, reasonably smooth riding race bike for a fraction of the price of a Tarmac or a Madone. So there we go, some of the best road race bikes I've ridden and tested and recommend you consider if you're in the market for a new road race bike in 2026. Now, none of these bikes are the best because in reality, they're all great bikes. I haven't featured any bad bikes, and there aren't many bad bikes, especially in this sort of price range. They're all good, but they're all different. Depends on what you're looking for. You might value aerodynamics, or low weight, or stiffness, or the looks of one bike might appeal to you over the other. You might prefer to buy from your shop or direct and get the value for money that offers. There are many factors you consider when buying a new road race bike. And do let me know what you consider important when choosing a new road race bike by dropping a comment down below. Love to hear from you as always. Do appreciate your feedback a lot. And if you want to see some other bikes worth considering, then watch the video right up here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you doing? Hit the button right there. But that is all for today. I'll see you again very soon. Thank you so much for watching.